Hey guys, my name's Sean. Basically what we're going to be doing today is starting a build series on my VB SLE Commodore. I purchased the car probably close to 3 years ago. Original 253 Trimatic car. Had rust that needed to be repaired. Had the front windscreen out already when I bought it. Basically picked it up in a trailer, took it straight to a mate's house for bodywork and paint. That was probably sort of completed over a couple of months. I still had the engine in the car, so the engine bay wasn't painted. Also the front lower cow was a little bit beaten up, so we were sort of trying to find another one rather than straightening that one out too much. Couldn't do that at the time, so that had just been left as well. I then bought the car home, didn't really have anywhere to keep it at the time, so it was stored at a mate's shed. Basically not touched for 2 years, a little bit over. Since I've got my own shed finally, so moved the car back here. Engine has been pulled out along with the transmission and everything else. Engine bay stripped. I've started taking the bay back to bare metal, just edge priming to protect. The interior side of things had a grey trim in it that was missing and pieces and quite grubby. I've ended up opting for a VH SLE trim. Always been a favourite of mine. I know VH interior into a VB is going to upset some people, but yeah, I've acquired door trims, really tidy front and rear seats. I've got a hood lining, seatbelt guards, sun visors, clips, door rubbers. Not going to run a centre console, so it will just be a B&M shifter directly mounted onto the floor. When the engine does come back, we do have some bits and pieces here, so just rock covers. Got some LSA factory manifolds there that we're going to flip, cut the flanges off and then make some turbo manifolds out of them. Wastegate there, 50mm turbo smart, fuel pressure regulator FPR 2000 there, front and rear covers, coil packs. There's the original water pump, we'll probably get a new one anyway. It's our tough mount, LS conversion mounts, just a factory inlet manifold for now, which is probably what will stay on the car. We're tossing up on what turbo to go for at the moment. Looking at the Borg Warner S400 range, somewhere around a 75 to 80mm wheel. So hopefully the next week or so I'll finally make my mind up and we can just pull the pin and purchase a turbo. The car will be getting mini tubbed also, with a 9-inch diff built to suit. Purchased some wheels in the last week before. B45 Simmons, the 15x4 front runner, and then a 15x8 3.5-inch backspace for the rear. So decent amount of dish for a Commodore. Like I said, obviously the mini tubs will be done to compensate and to fit that offset wheel. They're only a 255 on there now, I believe. 255/60. We'll be going up to a 275/60. Being able to fit an ET Street of that size under the rear end. Alright guys, got some exciting news. Yesterday I went and picked up the engine for the VB. So this is it. Still needs, obviously as you can see, still needs a bit more assembly before it's fully complete, but the bottom end itself is all together. I'll give you a quick rundown on what has been done and just exactly what's been changed and what's been left. So the engine itself was removed from a WM Caprice, about 100,000 Ks on the clock. There was actually really nothing wrong with it. It was just removed, and the owner of the car decided he wanted a built engine for whatever reason. So that happened, and this was sort of put down in storage, and anyway I ended up with it. So it just needed a set of heads and a sump and all that. Obviously me putting it into an early Commodore, I'd need to swap over to an LS1 front sump anyway. So yeah, all it was done, it was fully stripped down, just given a hone, then just standard rings, gapped slightly larger obviously because we're going to be putting some boost through it, set of ACL race bearings, ended up going a VCM 16, not sure if we can get that to show up on there or not, VCM 16 camshaft, which was acquired second hand, again very, very cheap. This is kind of a budget boosted build. So Melling's oil pump down there, just a standard replacement 3-bolt cam gear, ARP cam bolts there as well, new standard chain. As you can probably see if you're familiar, I am missing the guide there. That will be coming, so I'm just waiting for that at the moment before I can put the front cover on. And yeah, as you can see, also no lifters yet at the moment, so they're on their way. And also noticed I didn't have any dowels for the head, so I've ordered some of them, waiting for them. My head gaskets are here, just gone. That's the genuine part number there for LSA. Head gaskets, they're nice and thick, and obviously being multi-layered steel will be good for, well, and being LSA, obviously they're good for boost. So we'll be using them. I'll just turn this engine over. So, as you can see, ARP rod bolts, and that's it. Everything else, just factory. Everything else is still factory. So, standard mains. Like I said, just some new ACL race bearings throughout, and that's it. Also have a rear main on the way. That's why the rear plate isn't on yet. Front rear gasket kit. Basically all gaskets minus my head gaskets. So I've got some heads in here. ARP balancer bolt. Now that's my cylinder heads. They are just a standard port. I believe they're LS3. Where's the markings? Yeah, 0821s. So someone correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously they're still just standard springs in there at the moment. So I've got some valve springs on the way. Some rockers in there. So I will probably be doing a trunnion upgrade on them as well before they're fitted. So that's basically it for cylinder heads. I'm not going to be doing any porting or anything like that. I think I showed earlier, I do have a standard manifold there. Just grabbed another, I think it was just pulled off of a VF with bugger all kilometers on it. Not that it really matters, but yeah, that's probably the one that I'll use. It's just a bit cleaner. And then my front hump sump VY LS1, obviously, as you can see, needs a good clean before it is used, so that will be getting cleaned up. And obviously new sump gasket and pickup, being the fact that I need an LS1 front hump sump pickup, so that's on its way as well. I'm hoping all of these parts will arrive they're not going to before I'm back to work. I'm back to work in a couple of days and then gone for 2 weeks. So that'll have to be in the next episode, me putting the engine final pieces together. Then I can chuck my engine mounts on, and we'll probably grab an alternator as well. I think I'm just going to run an LS1 alternator because obviously that's just going to help with clearance when it comes time to making the manifolds, knowing where we do and don't have clearance. So that's probably about it for the engine. So over to the car. Engine bay has come a little bit further along, so we've had some bog work going on here. Nothing too crazy, although it does look like quite a bit. It's just trying to fill some of those lows. So this will be, fingers crossed, a friend of mine, Joel, will be coming over tomorrow night, I believe, this will all happen before you guys are even seeing this video. So I'm hoping that the engine bay, I will have it etched and essentially ready for paint before I go back to work. So then when I am back, the K-frame can be put in and the engine dropped in, at least for some dummy fitting. So for now, what I'm going to be attempting to do is removing this lower section of the radiator support panel, seeing that I want to fit an intercooler in here and don't really want to be cutting up the front apron, as I don't like that look. I'm going to remove the factory radiator mounts and that whole section and be putting in a tube, I suppose like a tube front end section, or not 100% sure exactly what it's going to be yet, but something that gives me more clearance in the front there. So let's see how we can go getting that out. So I am pretty sure that this lower tray section just unbolts. So we'll start by removing that, and then we will be, we've got a spot weld drill bit there. We'll be trying to remove this actually welded in section as well. So
what we do here is go back.
Okay guys, that's that removed. I think it's come up not too bad. Maybe a couple of spots where I went a little deep, so it will weld them up and then buzz them back again. Nothing too drastic though. It's I think for the first shot that's not too bad. Now just can't remember if I said anything, but this front panel will be getting replaced. You can see it's a bit beaten up and out of shape, and now that I've removed that bracing, it's sort of sitting there. I probably will remove this one as well. And as you can probably see, the bay is etch primed again, so the bog work is pretty much finished for now. Bay still requires a lot of work before paint, but it's at a stage where I'm happy to dummy fit the engine and start bolting things up. You can start making turbo manifolds, making exhaust, intercooler piping, all of that, drilling holes wherever they're going to have to be. And I'd rather do all of that before the engine bay is painted. So yeah, like I said, I'm happy to fit the engine now. That's going to be all for this video guys. I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Cheers.